time it is. Mr. Martin 405 back with another video. Like I said, man, I'm trying to keep this content rolling consistently. Try to push, man, at least 4 or 5 videos a week, if not more. You know what I mean? Just stuff that I need to be working on, both on the Vet and on the Durango. So today what we're working on, man, pulled the stereo out. Had to get that out to get my climate control module out of there to see if I can work on that joint and fix it before I spend anywhere between 175 200 bucks on a new one, and that not being it. One, the buttons on mine aren't responsive. So again, if y'all have, you know, a C4, I think their model's 84 if I'm not mistaken, 84, 85, I think it's like 83, 84, all the way up to 96. If I'm missing a year, y'all correct me in the comments. Of course, mine is an 88. You know that there were issues with the climate control module and, you know, trying to get the buttons and stuff to work. A lot of options that I've seen, both in on eBay and other places, where they just have you send it in, they repair it, send it back to you. So figure, why not? You know what I mean? Use my hands to do a lot of other stuff, whether it's working on my own cars, doing tune-ups, all your excuse me, basic maintenance, all that other kind of stuff. So I figured I might as well go ahead and try, being that I'm doing majority of the restoration myself. So when you get it pulled out of there, which again is just a couple screws that you got to pull loose or get loose to remove your bezels needed to pull the climate control out of there. Of course, there's just one clamp, which again, I could have got all this on tape, but it's pretty much self-explanatory. If you work with your hands, work on your own car, I mean, it should be a piece of cake anyway. But if not, like I said, there's a few screws to loosen the stereo bezel to pull that away from the dash, so then that way you can get access to the control module. Once you get access to that, there's just a wiring harness that plugs into the back. Of course, you push the little tab on there and pull that out of there. Now we get to the next part of the video, which the first time that I pulled it out, I didn't know how easy it was going to be disassembling it. Didn't too much want to mess with it, so I just put it back in there thinking, all right, well, cool. If I pull it out of there, kind of mess with it, it may fix it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So getting here to the next part of what I had to go through to get it disassembled. So getting it disassembled on each of these sides here, there's just these little clips. Once you get these little clips off, which I just used a very small flathead screwdriver to get these popped off. Once you get these popped off, then that'll kind of release the faceplate itself. And then what you're going to want to have to deal with is these little clips here on the sides, because that's what holds the back part in. All I did was kind of pry those up a little bit. Goodness. But we'll say error on the side of caution, because pulling them a little bit too far out, you could potentially crack it like I did mine, which again, I didn't break it, but these things are a little brittle, you know what I mean? Especially with it being, you know, an 88 or older. Just pry those forward a little bit, because these little clips right in here, or if you can get to it, this little part right in here, that's what's holding the back of the unit in. So like I said, those clips, they hold this part in, which it's basically these parts here that kind of sit down on the edge back there and kind of hold this back part in. Of course, this is where your harness plugs in back there in the back. All I've done so far is just kind of touch this up a little bit, give it a little bit of scraping, so in that way, if there's any corrosion that is built up on there, if I can get that to zoom in, there we go. If there's any corrosion or anything that has built up on there and not allowing it to contact the way that it's supposed to, just seeing what we can do on our own without having to send this in or buy a new unit. So there's that aspect of it. I also kind of touch this up a little bit, just kind of scraping a little bit, making sure again there's no corrosion on the inside of there. And then I may kind of mess with this front part a little bit, just to make sure the contacts are hitting where they're supposed to, because this is where all your buttons hit at. All of your let's go back over here, your off button, your auto, bi-level, your economy button, heater, and your defrost down here. Up top we have, of course, your exterior temperature, your defrost here, And then of course down here at the bottom you have your fan, up and down buttons, auto, and then of course your cooler and your warmer button. But again, y'all know all that if you have a C4. But messing with this, man, and just kind of documenting my experience, and that way, if I can get this to work, cool. If not, you know what I mean, at least I can say I tried without, you know what I mean, just ordering a new piece, spending, like I said, 150, 200 bucks on something that could have been fixed easily myself. So I'll mess with this a little bit more, kind of get that cleaned up, walk back through the assembly process, getting it put back together, and then see what the results are, man. All right, man, so got the contacts all cleaned up. As far as I can see, that could be causing the possible disconnection and what could possibly be corrosion. Some people wouldn't attempt this, just not wanting to further damage any of the parts. But again, mine was kind of temperamental, didn't really know when it was going to work. Some days it would, some days it wouldn't. Some days I would have heat, some days I wouldn't. Have to get the AC charged and get that back up and running. So far, this is all that I've done, which I'm getting ready to reassemble. Which all I've done thus far is all my contacts, kind of clean those up a little bit. Again, don't really know how much this is going to help the situation. May not, who knows? Like I said, it was already kind of temperamental. So just trying to take steps into the right direction before purchasing a new one. So this is kind of experimental. If it works, hey, by all means, that's awesome. I don't have to worry about getting another one. But at the same time, if it doesn't, I was already looking at getting another one anyway. So kind of trial and error on my part. So then therefore, if you were thinking doing the same thing, if it works, cool, then you can try this. If not, you know what not to do. Like I said, cleaned up those contacts down off in here, all of these buttons here to try to help get a better connection when you're pushing your buttons. Also back here, just kind of ran through there a little bit, kind of cleaning up those contacts where this motherboard here actually plugs into there and goes into your harness. Let's see, should we clean that area? So kind of got that cleaned up a little bit, which that was a little bit worse than that. So hopefully that'll give me a little bit better connection when plugging it back into this here. And then of course, going back into my harness connection back up here as well, which these are the parts that are in between the motherboard itself and the buttons when you press them, which these had a little bit of corrosion back here, back behind them too. So that could have also caused part of the issue. So outside of that, got everything pretty much cleaned up how I want it. Now just about to walk back through putting it back together, which again, same as disassembling, taking it back apart, which I'll walk you through that if, like I said, you want to take these steps on your own. So you'll be plugging this piece back into here. Of course, these pieces back here, which I still kind of got to go over these. These is where your light bulbs to give you your backlight, not only for your buttons, but I want to say that actually lights itself, that part there. So yeah, it's mainly for your buttons when you actually have it cut on at the nighttime, when you have your dimmer and all that stuff on. So I still need to kind of clean up these areas here and then these two spots. But like I said, this piece of course plugs into here. You got your lights that screw in here, and of course all of your buttons that go back into here. So the buttons here. So these are your buttons that are going to be on the outside, which this is actually what you're pressing. Again, if I can get that too. These will be what you're pressing on the outside, and then those little gray contacts that I showed you will be on the other side. So they'll be back here, and then that'll be what's pushing the button through here and hitting the contact on the motherboard. So let's get this back together and see if we have a working module. All right, so all the front buttons back in, and then these are the connectors that go back behind it. But you have these little connectors, or should I say little plastic pieces that come through there. Will kind of guide you where things are supposed to go, which again, you have your long strip here, your 3 buttons here, and then 2 on each side. So they're kind of self-explanatory. So got those back in. Now I just need to put the face back on here, which I'm about to clean up my light bulb connections before I attach this. But just wanted to show you guys where these are. All right, man, so we're back together. Like I said, be careful with these clips here. As you can see, mine actually did come off. It didn't just crack, but these clips on the side actually hold it in pretty good, so it's not loose or anything. So now is the moment of truth. Get it plugged in, see if it did any justice, taking it apart, getting it worked on. But again, if it worked, cool, then that's an expense that I can put towards something else, getting something else restored, or that'll still be something that I gotta replace. But gotta try, man, gotta try. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Not gonna really start it. What you hear right now is just a little bit of noise back. There's something else that I gotta fix in this joint, which I'll figure that out here before long. We'll start this joint up, see if my heat and all of that stuff is working. But got a toddler in there asleep, man, and don't want to wake him up, because then can work on my next project, which again, he'll probably be up here in a minute anyway. All my parents, you know what I'm going through. Anyway, so moment of truth, see if these buttons work. Before they didn't, you just kind of had to keep pushing buttons to see if stuff worked. So see what we got. All right, so never mind the mess here. I get that all cleaned up. Had to pull my stereo back out, of course, to get all this out of here. So again, you're seeing temperature, so off button works, auto. So buttons seem to be working like they're supposed to, man. All my lights coming on when they're supposed to. Stuff cutting off. Let's see if I turn it on auto. Outside temp is 47, so yeah, that is working. Defrost, fan. Of course, you see that going down. 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. 8, 9, 10, yeah. So all of my buttons are working. Put it on auto. Alright, we're gonna turn that on for a second. Let me see something real quick. Alright, so all that's working. Turn that up. Or turn it down. Alright, man, bet. Turn it off for right now. In case that's so. I don't know, man. It may seem like we may stumbled on to something, man. Man, fix something and saved a couple $100 that can go towards something else, man. As y'all can take, I need a little bit more work done here and there, which I was going to work on this and try to get this redone, which I think it'd just be a whole lot easier just ordering a new one. Because as you can see, zoomed in some, how this top panel is coming away from my door panel here, and all of the clips that hold this top piece on to the door panel itself are actually broken. So I think I'm just going to order another one, cheapest that I found them. If I can remember what the website is. If I can remember what the website is or find where it was, I'll throw that in the description. I want to say they were like $240 a panel, which this panel's bad, which I thought about just getting a driver panel and leaving the passenger one alone, because again, the one on the passenger side is still in pretty decent shape. Not only the rubber on the inside there, but the actual door panel itself, because it seems like this door wasn't used as much, obviously. But yeah, man, so I may do that, but then I feel like that door will look older than this one, unless I can get that one cleaned up and have it matching, you know what I mean, the new one, which obviously I'm gonna have to replace on this side. Thinking back to some of my comments on some of my previous videos, I'm trying to stop saying so much, you know what I mean? So I read y'all's comments, each and every last one of them. I try to respond. Okay, we gotta get that turned off. This thing is making all kind of noise. Gotta figure that out, man. Get on my codes, figure out what codes I may be throwing. Like I said, try to get the motor, trans, and all of that stuff tight before I do really anything else. I'll show you a couple more things on the inside that I plan on working on. But yeah, door panel, that's on the list. Instrument cluster, which again, I got on eBay, ordered one from a guy. He sent it got damaged in transit, gave me a discount, and I kind of tried to, you know, kind of Frankenstein the two together to try to get things fixed. To which on the other one, you had to kind of guess, which here, I'll show you. We're in here. Over here, on the speedometer side, on the one that I had in here, none of this was working. So the miles per hour, the digital part of this wasn't working, but this part here was. So you had to keep an eye on how fast you were going as far as the bars building up. On this one that I got in there, being that the instrument panel that the guy sent me before, or that the guy ordered, or that I ordered from the guy on eBay, like the edge of the LCD panel was cracked. So that's why you have these already on, because basically all of this is supposed to look like this down here with nothing on. Changed out all my bulbs to the LED bulbs, hence the brighter display. So now this part works, all of this doesn't. All of this in here pretty much work. It doesn't look as good as it potentially could. And on top of that, also what I changed was I ordered polarizing film off of Amazon, changed all of that. That's why this kind of seems a little bit dark in areas, which I just cut out pieces and kind of glued that, kind of came together a little bit. Not really. Again, trying to fix something myself, see if I can fix it before ordering something new, which didn't quite work with the instrument cluster, but as we can see, it worked with the climate control. So I'll really get an idea for that. I may go for a quick drive to see if I fix that. Let me see. So this side over here, again, all of this works. And I think this side actually got cracked too in transit. So all of these bars work, but the digital part down here at the bottom, this does not. Outside of that, what I also plan on working on as well is the dash here. This dash pad, as far as I've seen on eBay, they range from anywhere from $350 to $400 or $500, depending on who you buy it from. But I've also seen some other videos. I may try to repurpose this myself as well. Videos that I've seen, guys have gotten around these cracks, got a razor blade, kind of cut that out some more to make sure there's none of that sticking up. Because of course, when there's cracks, get in some, when there's cracks, it cracks and lifts up. So they normally kind of cut back to about here, and razor blade cut all of that out, make that a little bit wider, maybe about ½ an inch or so, and then fill that in with body filler, as well as I'm gonna have to do all this over here, get that sanded down, and then they respray it, which I'm thinking covering mine with vinyl, which depending on how that works, because you know, I had an 82 Trans Am. These pieces actually came out, and there was a 4x6 speaker that was in here. With this model, I don't know about the later models, if they changed that. Again, I have an 88, so I don't know from 89 up if they changed this, but there's no hole here. All of this is filled in. So if I can get this out, then I may go that route. If not, I may have to try to spray this once I get these fixed to see if I can fix this dash panel, which I feel like it's possible because other people are doing it. So whether or not I want to really mess with it and invest in getting all of that done, we'll see. Also, I know I've said it about another 7-8 times. Again, I'm trying to stop saying so much. But as I was saying before, I'm gonna go back to that because I actually jumped over that. I read every single last comment, and I try to get to my comments and all of that stuff from you guys as fast as possible. Because again, that's the interaction between myself as the content creator and you guys who are the viewers. You give me your input, or you have your questions or what have you. So if there's input that you guys have, know them in those comments, trying to take on that information, so then therefore I can make my content better, as well as answering questions. So if you guys have any questions about, well, hey man, I was wondering about this, whether it pertains to cars or my other channel, again, Talking Spec, which I should put that right in here. If y'all want to check that channel out, that's basically just my tech channel. So I'll be addressing everything tech, whether it's the stereo equipment that I put in here or just tech in general. But also what I plan on doing to the vet is this thing here, which I don't know how good you can see that, but if I can kind of light that up, bread box, which that's what they call it, which It was supposed to be for an airbag, so people who don't know, all my Corvette owners, you know. I plan on getting rid of this and getting what is called the bread box delete, or that's what the Corvette community calls it, or guys that I've seen call it. I don't know what the technical term is for it, which is just a flat piece that goes in front of here. Plan on changing that. Everything else is just pretty much cosmetic stuff and small stuff that I can fix. I mean, motor and transmission are pretty much tight. They need a few tweaks here and there. When I get somewhere and the car is started and it's running, I'm driving, and I get somewhere and I turn it off. Like in the morning, like if I was to hit it right now, turn the key over, it starts instantly. After I've been driving for a little bit, go somewhere, motor's hot, go to start it. I sit there and hold the key for a minute. Takes 3 or 4 seconds for it to start. May even have to tap the gas a little bit. With this being fuel injected, shouldn't have to do that. So got to track that problem down, which what I plan on changing. Y'all let me know what y'all have done if you have this same problem. Plan on changing the ignition control module, because I didn't change that when I changed everything else. When I changed the distributor cap, the rotor, distributor cap, rotor butt, got that, spark plugs and wires. So have to change out the other components in my distributor cap. Didn't know if I needed them or not. Again, hadn't really worked on carburetor distributor in I don't know how long. So I got the parts that I got. Anyway, so plan on changing the ignition control module in my distributor cap, as well as replacing all my fuel injectors. Some of the information that I looked up saying, you know, fuel injectors may not be pushing as much pressure as they once did. So those are the next 2 things that I'm going to try to get to make sure whenever I hit the key, it starts right up. Outside of that, information that I've gotten, put the key in, turn it over, of course, trying to get my codes off this lovely thing here, which that'll pop up down here. If you know, you know. I'll explain that, and of course probably have content over that if you guys want to know that information as well. That way, if I have any codes, that'll tell me directly like, hey, this is what's wrong with me, fix me. So, but yeah, I'll update you guys, which I'll probably keep it in this video, but I don't want this video to stretch and get just extremely long. So phone on me. Outside of that, man, like I said, it's working way better than it once was. So with that information, if y'all wanted to try that, man, because like I said, if that just saved me 200 bucks, cool, I can put that towards something else. I'm still bouncing back and forth on whether or not I want to go ahead and get this thing painted, which I kind of do, because I don't really want to deal with going back to getting it wrapped. Plus the color that I have chosen, I don't know if they make in a wrap. Let's see, I had to get all of my, that's another thing that I have to get is all of my weather stripping, which stuff that I plan on doing is, zoom out here, boom. Getting all my weather stripping, and I want to say I've seen the whole kit. I want to say it's about 280, 290 bucks, and that includes everything. So I'll be changing all of this weather stripping around my doors, around the hatch, around the doors here, around the windows. It's like 7 or 8 different parts. Outside of that, I plan on kind of scuffing this down where all of this in here is, get zoomed in here. All of this is kind of chipping and kind of dented in. Kind of clean all of that up as well. But like I said, still trying to decide on, because with wrapping it, it's just a whole lot more you gotta do. Which again, depending on how much they're talking for a paint job, because I'm not trying to spend an excessive amount of money, if you feel what I'm saying. But I want it done right, you know, so I'm opening to, you know what I mean, spending a little bit more to make sure paint job is right. I have a few corrections that, you know, need to be made in areas, some things that need to be sanded down, which I'll go over that here in a second, because there's one particular area that is bugging me, you know what I mean? But I want it to, you know what I mean, be a quality paint job, man. I want it to, you know what I mean, not have any orange peel, not be, you know, bumpy, all of that, which I've learned about, you know, wet sanding and buffing. So if I gotta save a little bit to do the color sanding and buffing myself, we'll go that route. I've done it before. If not, if I can, you know what I mean, just avoid all of that process, then cool. Yeah, as far as this is concerned, before I got the car, of course, my dad had the car, and this bumper was changed. So I don't know if it was just damaged. They found a bumper and decided to go with this one. But you see this? This doesn't belong here. You normally only see the third brake light on a convertible. Of course, this is not a convertible. So you see a third brake light here and one up there. So I want to get rid of this. It's easy to get rid of. Either way, I want to get rid of it. So then that way all of this is flush to get all of this sand back down. You know, just get it taken care of. So, and this, where all of this is just all messed up. Another reason I can't drive it when it's raining outside, because of course water runs in there. But yeah, man, that'll do it for this video, which not quite yet, because again, I want to drop that in there. Well, I may just do a quick video when I'm driving this to see if that completely fixed that issue, which again, it's actually working before the buttons didn't even work. So I'll end this video, man, and give y'all an update once I'm able to drive it and actually see if, you know, all of my buttons working, make sure my heat and all of that stuff kicks on like it's supposed to, which it feels like it would. If not, I got to change that other module. I think that's up under that kick panel, up under the steering wheel. So be back in touch, man. Like I said, try to drop content at least 4 or 5 times a week. You know, at most, at minimum, I want to try to drop at least 3 to 4 videos a week on either vehicle. So till the next one, man. Again, y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification so y'all notified whenever I drop new content. I'll get at y'all in a minute. Peace.